Hey guys, you got the Bub031 here again, and this is going to be part 2 of Debeaujeu. I have my tools here and that right now that we're going to be using. T-pins, spatulas, no nails, and a sanding block. As well, we have all of the cork road bed that we're going to put down. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hey guys, so the first thing what we're going to be doing is I'm going to put down the main line. I got this at double speed because due to the fact this video was so long when I made this, it took forever. So I had to do a lot of editing to this. So right now, I'm just trimming up all of the cork so that we can lay it in. This is a long process. This took a few days to actually get done. So right now, still getting it off. We're also prepping the no nails, getting it ready to go, making sure it's good. I'm also with my friend, Mr. Bob Moore, aka Railway Bob. If you want to look him up, he's got a channel as well to how to build modules. Sanding just takes forever, I can tell you that right now. So now we're laying down the first piece for the south track. Just making sure everything's good to go. Now we're going to put the first bead of no nails on. So we're just going to do a nice straight bead across. And this is what we did for every single piece of cork on this module. Keep going, just enough to the end. Once you have done, back off the pressure so that it doesn't keep spreading on your caulking gun. Now we're going to take our spatula here and we're going to start spreading the no nails onto the cork. And as you can see, Bob was telling me go back and forth on there so that we can get a nice, all of the cork is completely covered, that we will be able to place it onto the module. So now we're just spreading it a little bit more. It's a bit of a process, just to let everyone know. Still spreading, still spreading, still spreading. You want to make sure it's nice and even, completely across on the piece of cork. Now we're going to get it ready. We're going to flip it over, place it in the proper position. We're going to press it down nice and tight. As well, we have acetone out there as well, just to clean off some of the glue. So now we are actually going to place these T-pins down. They spread the pressure down all the way across, and you're going to want to do this for every time you put a piece of cork road bed down. So when you have T-pins, you want to make sure you have a lot of T-pins for this job. And that's the first piece of cork road bed down. So we're continuing now with the next piece. You basically want to start with one edge and go all the way to the end. And as well, when you're starting back on the other side, you're basically going to want to offset the gaps so that it's nice and clean and you don't get anything to push up. So still pinning down here. At the edges, you want to try and get as close as you can, but of course there's the wood up top. So you got to try and get as close as you can to the edge of where that cut's going to be right after. So still going, still going, still going. And we had to do that for the entire south track and for the north track. what we did mostly at first was the north and south track. Now we're actually deciding to go and start working on one of the back sidings, because that way there, once the far sidings are done, we're good to go. So we're just making sure we're also doing the curves here too. So you put a nice gentle curve in. Once you put the pins in for that, it'll stay put and it'll work. As well, you're going to see here as well, I'll call it out when it is, but we're also going to measure out where the switches are going to go on this portion of the layout. So we're starting our bend right now. This is to the back side of where the one of the possibly grain elevator / car shop's going to be. So we're still pinning, still pinning, still pinning. And as well, we're getting another piece, getting that ready. Actually, this is the Y switch, so now we're measuring in the center to where we're going to go. So right now we're eyeballing it. It actually looks really good. So now we're going to continue on. And that's that part. So we got that portion in. Now we're going to be making another, now we're going to be putting in another piece, offset it with the other one. We're not going to put it flush up against it. We are going to, though, put it right up against the main piece, but as well, we're going to pull out a little bit because that's where the far switch for one of the sidings is. And then I'll show you how we actually cut the cork to make it fit nicely so we can actually put it on. So it's going good. Getting another switch because that way there we can make sure it's good to go. We're going to line it up, making sure. And that's where we want to put it. So from there on, you take your switches to help you line yourselves up, and then you should be good to go. Still going, and yep. Continue cutting here. We just cut one of the end pieces off.
Right there.
So this is the end of this siding here, and then we can work off that. A very tedious process, cutting cork, gluing it. I believe this took 2 days to get done, to actually make sure everything was good to go before we had to start laying track. Laying track will be in part 3. I still got to find that video on my old laptop to actually start editing that one as well. And now we'll move on to actually cutting. So, we got our pieces here. So what we're going to do is measure out, and you take yourself a marker and all that to where this is actually going to go. So we're just right now trying to fiddle with the pieces. So you're going to be putting a line across there. That way there it's going to be nice and tight, button up against it. So Mr. Bob Moore is showing me how to do this part because I've never dealt with it. So he's got the actual thing to pull out there with paper. So now we're going to actually do our drawing and our cutting. So we take a small piece like that. We're going to put it over the second piece. We're going to mark it. And then from the point to the bottom piece to where we mark it, we're going to put a line in. Like so. And he's putting X's on there because that's the piece we are not going to use. So you make sure you have yourself a cutting board out. You're going to cut away from yourself, not towards yourself, especially with a big knife like this. And as well, you're going to have to maybe go through this a couple of times just to make sure the cut is good to go. and then it's going to be flush. So this is just a few pieces that we're doing right now. This is how I did for the entire module. So there's our piece cut. We can now pull that out. Okay, we're going to go back in again. And now we're going to cut another piece and make it like so. So we're going to mark it again. Draw our line across to the other side on an angle. Make sure we're good to go. Marking our piece that we're not going to use. And here we go. We're going to start cutting. And again, you cut away from yourself. Right to the tip. Try to get as much as a pointed tip as you can. We're through there. And then we're going to, usually as well it works if you start from the middle, work your way to the outer edges. And then you just trim off what you don't need from that line. So now we'll sand it off, making sure it's good to go. So that she's going to fit nice and tight up against the cork. So we'll put the piece in, and as you can see, it fits nice and tight. So just maybe a little bit more off the side here, just to make sure it fits. I definitely want to thank Mr. Bob Moore for helping me with this, aka Railway Bob. He helped me with my last modules too on Algonquin. So now that we got that done, it's ready to go. We're going to grab the no nails. And we're going to start doing the exact same process as what we did for the main and what we'll do for the rest of the cork. I'm going to probably have to put a little bit more down due to the fact that it was gunking up on the end. Okay, we're good for now. Keep spreading, so you spread it. So with no nails, you spread as much as you can. I think we went through 2 tubes of this stuff, just for the 8-foot section. Spread. Basically, you just spread it on like butter. So, yeah, just a little more. We had some excess. Just add a little bit extra to the end. Now we're ready. We're going to butt it into place as close as we can. Give it that nice tight fit. Push it up against the piece that's already dry. And now we're going to start T-pinning it all the way in. And that's pretty much it. So, there you have it, everyone. My cork road bed is laid, glued, and now it's ready to go for track. That's basically what the track pinland's gonna look like with my main, and who knows with the transfer as well, that it's right here. This could lead off to say maybe a future possible module in the future to make, say, something going up to the north. I also have my far main grain elevator trackage, which is gonna be over there. And then at the far end, another industry. I don't know yet. We'll see how that's going to go. Like I said, there's a lot of industry just in this small little 8-footer. So hopefully, once the track is laid and it's wired, we can get to testing But that's all going to be coming up in the future. So, from the cork roadbed of laying this episode, thanks for watching. And as always, make sure the signal's green and keep moving down the line.